TCA, which is the Texas Commission on the Arts, does not. The NEA, National Endowment for the Arts, does not. But we technically only fund, in the Cultural Arts Funding Program, nonprofit arts organizations. So I take that back. One of the programs I'm going to talk about, we do have fiscal sponsorship as being optional. But fiscal sponsorship is a way where you can fund somebody who is not their own 501c nonprofit organization. So basically, it's not exactly the same, but the analogy I like to use, it's like a subcontracting process. So you're contracting or granting ABC Arts Organization X amount of dollars for John Smith to do whatever art project that he's doing. So the contract and the money and everything is with the nonprofit, but then they're kind of the fiscal stewards of the money and give the money to the artist to do whatever. So we are a place that does do fiscal sponsorship. There's pros and cons to the fiscal sponsorship model. One of the downsides is we allow the fiscal sponsor, which is the nonprofit organization, to take up to 10% of whatever the city award amount is to cover their administrative fees. So that's a downside for the individual artist, is like, if it's, let's just say $1,000 to keep the math easy, they're giving up $100, or maybe let's say $10,000, so that way it's a bit more substantial. Of that $10,000, they have to give up $1,000 to their fiscal sponsor. So up to, we let them charge no more than 10%. Most of them do. If you do charge a smaller percentage than that. The plus side for it is, at least in the city, our arts funding is technically contracts, not grants. So it runs, for all intents and purposes, as a grant process. You may find this with other government funders that you're helping clients with, that they're technically contracts and not grants, but for all intents and purposes, it runs as a grant program. But since it is a contract, since we're contracting for artistic services, in order for us to enter into the contract in the first place, they may be awarded the funds, but they have to have insurance in place. And especially if it's a small nonprofit or if it's an individual artist, that can be hard to find that money. It's a catch-22. So a lot of the fiscal sponsors, but not all of them, will either place their sponsored projects on the insurance for free or for a very nominal fee. So they can place them on there for $100 or $200. And so it may be, so it's kind of a cost-benefit analysis, especially when it's optional to use fiscal sponsorship, on whether the individual artist wants to use that. Yes, sir?
What is the insurance? What is the risk there?
So the risk is that risk management has told us that we need to do it. So I don't know, I guess you slip on a banana peel on your way to the theater. Generally though, 99% of our contractors have general liability insurance, and that's because in Austin and with a lot of local arts agencies, I don't know how common it is throughout the U.S., but we use hotel occupancy tax to fund our arts programs. So because of that, there has to be a public component to what the artists are doing. So we're not going to fund a painter just to create paintings, or we're not going to fund a band just to create a CD. But if they create a painting and then do an exhibition, or they create a CD and then do either a concert or a CD release party, then that fulfills the requirement of being open to the public, so that way visitors, tourists, and residents can attend the conference. So since it's open to the public, there's general liability. There may be automobile liability if you're transporting stuff to the venue. If the venue has it there already, you don't need to worry about that, but if you need to transport stuff, and then if you're selling alcohol, then liquor legal liability. And it can be expensive. It can be, you can get an event insurance policy, which is just for, like, if it's a 2-day festival or